This is the Minibrute 2S. To me, it sounds better than the original Minibrute for basses and leads. But what really sets the 2S apart is the patchbay and the multi-track sequencer. With that, you can do two-part sequences, and even drum beats. But I'll get more into that later. For this review, I'm concentrating on the patchbay and the sequencer, and hopefully give a few tips along the way that'll be useful for any modular setup. The sequencer has pitch, gate, plus 2 assignable modulation tracks that you could, for example, route to filter cutoff and resonance, but you can also set them to a second pitch and gate combination, giving you 2 parts. Right now they're sharing the same filter, but I can bypass the filter by patching one of the oscillator's output directly into the synth's master input. I'm going to route an envelope to the second oscillator for a kick drum. If I use a bandpass filter with key tracking, it's possible to get different sounds across the keys. Then by sequencing different notes, you can get the kick, the snare, and the hi-hat. You can fiddle with this stuff for a long time, dialing in the right sound. I can route an LFO to the volume for a stutter effect. Now, you might be thinking, that's a lot of work. You already have better drums than this, right? But there are plenty of things you can do with a modular synth that you can't do on a drum machine. You can even do bass and drums at the same time. The sequence has a steady stream of 16th notes, so the kick and the snare would just constantly be hitting. I combine the two through the auxiliary VCA, then the second mod sequence is acting as an envelope, turning off the notes I don't want. Meanwhile, the pitch and gate are controlling oscillator 1, while an LFO is modulating the resonance. I wasn't super into the first Minibrute or the Microbrute. While it could do some cool stuff, it somehow managed to simultaneously sound aggressive and sterile. But it's a good value for what it does. The Minibrute 2S is twice the price, but it's like 10 times better. It sounds fuller, richer, more solid, it's not sterile, and the sequencer is fantastic. As a first modular synthesizer, it might be intimidating. There are trillions and trillions of routing options, and the vast majority either don't work or they sound terrible. Fortunately, the manual's pretty good. I think if you read it through and then work through the patch book, over a week or two, you'd come out knowing more than 90% of synth users. I wish the Minibrute 2 had the sequencer from the 2S. I like keys, but the 2 has a much more limited sequencer. I think the 2S is the one to get. I also wish that they had coarse and fine pitch control as separate knobs for each oscillator. It's sometimes hard to get it in tune. Bottom line is this. Whether you have a modular setup already, or if this would be your first modular synthesizer, I can't think of a better value as far as sound and features.